Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we are going to do a get ready with me featuring some new items and some recently new items. So we've got items that I have never before used, such as the new Cle de Peau concealer. We also have the new Victoria Beckham eyeliner in olive and the new Mario lip serum. So those are items I have not used before at all. We're also revisiting some of the new releases from Chanel, such as a couple of the new blushes and so forth. New brow pencil formula from Byredo and so forth. So come join me and let me know what you think. All right, so right now on my skin, I have the Surratt Perfectioniste Primer and the Vizier Eye Primer. And we're going to start off using the new Cle de Peau concealer. So this has been a classic concealer for a very long time. And this is the Cle de Peau stick concealer. This one here is the original. So you can see you've got kind of like this beveled lid here. I have the shade Ivory. And this one also has SPF 25. So one of the ways you can tell the new one versus the original one apart on retailer website is there is a slight price increase. So this is the new one. You can see you don't have the beveled lid. You have a wider belt here in the center. It's also SPF 27. The new one retails for $75. The original, I believe, is $72. So slight difference. And I have shade Ivory in both of these. They're both 5 grams or 0.17 ounces. And my new one that I just ordered from the Cle de Peau website expires August of 2023. So just something to note there. And we're going to test this out today, but I will have a full review on the new Cle de Peau concealer after I've used it a bit, and we'll do like a side-by-side comparison with the original and all of that. But first today, let's just start with this, and I'm going to put this on the way that I like to use the other one. So I just like to get a little bit on my finger because I find that this warms it up just a little bit, and kind of tap this on underneath. Now the shade Ivory is their lightest shade, but it is just a little bit darker than I typically like for myself. So I always put it on underneath foundation. Although to be honest, I do that with pretty much every concealer anyway. So let's just put a little bit more here. I have to say, so far, texturally, they feel pretty similar. No major differences at this time. So we'll see how they compare. But today, let's just test it out. For foundation today, we're going to go in with the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skincare and Glow foundation. I use shade 1N95. So I'm just going to apply this, and I'm using the Kyoto F04. So I did not go over the concealer, but I'm going to take the edge of this brush and just kind of go over the edges of the concealer here. All right, just to kind of blend that in a little bit better. And this is what the concealer is looking like right now. And I'm going to dust my face loosely with the Sisley Futo Poudre Compact in shade 1, Rosy. So I'm just getting some powder on this is the Chikuhodo KZ1 brush. And for blush, I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to go into the Chanel Comet blush in Pêche Cosmique. So just going to get a little bit of this on here. And I'm going to put this here on the cheekbones, and then we'll go in with another blush on top of this. But you can see that it gives you kind of this soft glow. You don't get a lot of pigment from this. It's really more like a slight peachy tint, but it's pretty light. And then on top of that, we're going to add the Pêche Rosé. So I'm going to use the same brush, just going to get a little bit, and I'm not using a lot of this blush. So I didn't pick up that much product there. Let's get a little bit more here. And just going to lightly put this on. As you can see, you've got a bit of that golden gleam there from the Peche Rosé as well. So this is just giving me a tiny bit of color, not much. We're actually going for a very soft, more minimal look today. And I've got a few other new products that I want to try out. But first, we're going to move in with one of the Dior singles. This is the shade 573 Nude Dress. It's a satin formula. I'm going to put this all over my eye. I'm using the Chikuhodo KZ6. This is one of my favorite brushes for one and done looks. And it's very hard to find now. The KZ series has essentially been discontinued and it's hard to find. You still see some of the brushes pop up here and there, but it's essentially discontinued. So no other shadow, but I am going to take this brush into the Peche Cosmique a little bit and just kind of go above the crease here with this. Just kind of everywhere, you know, just to give a really soft glow there. And then another new product I wanted to try out is the new Victoria Beckham liner in olive. So, Butterfingers. But anyway, this liner is the new green liner from Victoria Beckham. I'm very glad they came out with a green. It's weird though, like online it's called olive, but it is described as like I forget, like an antique forest green or something like that. So you've got one end with the sponge tip applicator here, and then here is the actual liner. Right now, it's only available on the Victoria Beckham website, but it will be coming to other retailers at some point. When you buy them from the Victoria Beckham website, you can choose whether or not you would like to spend an extra, I think it's $2 for a sharpener or not. So I chose not to get mine with a sharpener. If you buy it from a regular retailer, I think they always come with the sharpener. So just something to note there. But you can see it's a really pretty green. Real quickly, before we apply this, let's just look at a few other green eyeliners. All right, so again, we've got the Victoria Beckham here. This is one of the new Sisley Phyto Kohl Star liners, and this is the matte formula. So this is shade number 3, Jungle. So you can see they're actually pretty close. There's maybe a touch more blue in the Victoria Beckham, but they're actually a pretty close match, I would say. They're also both very, very creamy. I do find that the Sisley has better staying power for me. The Victoria Beckham, I like them more for a smudged look, but I do find, particularly, you know, depending on what I'm wearing and the temperature and so forth, that they don't necessarily stay put. They are not one that I can use my waterline, but the Sisley I can. We also have Chantecaille in Black Forest. So that's right here. Again, it's going to be similar, but it actually has more blue in it than the new Victoria Beckham. The Victoria Beckham has a little bit more of like a yellow olive tone in comparison to the Chantecaille. Now, we also have the Chantecaille Olive Brocade, which is like my favorite eyeliner. You can see it's got a gold shimmer in it, but this is really more of a true olive, whereas the Victoria Beckham olive is really more of a forest green. We have the Shiseido Byrodo green, which is number 6. So this is one of those big stilos. I really like these, but you can see this one is going to be a much brighter green. This is more like Christmas tree green, and you know, it's really pretty, but it's just very different in tone. And then we have some Chanel liners. So this one here is number 951, Khaki Intense. This is one of the older eyeliners that came out like years ago, maybe like 2 years ago. So that's this one here. You can see it's definitely got a lot more brown in there. It's really more of a brown with a touch of green. And then we also have the new khaki one from Chanel. This is 56 Khaki Metal. And this one's more similar to the Chantecaille Olive Brocade. You can see you've got a little bit of gold shimmer in there as well. It's more of an olive green, but you can see the Chantecaille is more golden versus the Chanel. I really like this one. And we also have Vert Emeraude, which is number 46. And again, this is one of the newer ones as well. And you can see that the tones of this are a much more like a spruce tree, you know, you got that blue-green kind of look to it, but it's not that similar to the Victoria Beckham. So one more time here, we've got the Victoria Beckham in olive, the Sisley in number 3, Jungle, Shiseido by Rodo Green, number 6. Then up here we have Chantecaille Olive Brocade, Chantecaille Black Forest, and then we have the Chanel in Vert Emeraude. This is going to be Khaki Metal, and this is Khaki Intense, which is no longer available. So let's go ahead and apply the liner. I'm going to smudge this into the upper lash line here. You can see how creamy this is, how smoothly it goes on. Out of the ones that we swatched, the Sisley is pretty much just as creamy. I'd say the Victoria Beckham is slightly creamier, but they're close. And then the Shiseido is also very creamy. Again, the Victoria Beckham is just a little bit creamier. I'm just going to use the smudger to soften this a bit. And the Chantecaille is creamy as well. You know, not quite as creamy as the Sisley or the Victoria Beckham, but it's kind of like one of those best of both worlds kind of formulas. And the Chanel is a much drier formula. All right, so I'm not going to put anything on the lower lash line so I can really take a look at the concealer throughout the day. But this is the Olive from Victoria Beckham. I have to say it is incredibly creamy. I kind of want to say it feels a little creamier even than some of the others. I know that sometimes some of the shades have, you know, very, very slight differences in how they wear and so forth. I have to say this is one of the creamiest ones. And it smudges really well. It's a really beautiful color. I'll let you know how it lasts throughout the day, if it kind of stays put and so forth. All right, so I just used the rougher lash curler. I just gave a little bit of curl to my lashes. I'm going to go in with one of my favorite mascaras, the Sisley So Stretch, and I really like using brown mascara, so that's what I'm using today. And you can see that this is a lengthening mascara and it separates your lashes, which is my preference personally. I prefer something that is more separating. And one of the great things about this formula is I can use this mascara easily on the lower lashes. I really like the shape of the brush. So you can see how easy it is to apply. And I typically like to go in with a lash comb after putting a mascara. This is from Tweezerman. You know, I don't always do this, but most of the time I like to just make sure everything is separated. All right, so that's it for the eyes. For the brows, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Byredo brow pencil. This is in the shade Sand. And I think this, you know, it's one of those like waxier pencils. This isn't in the best shade for me, but I like the product. You know, I think it's a nice product. It's not my favorite. I think I still prefer something like the powder pencils from like Gucci, or I miss the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I think this is a nice product as well. And I like the fact that it's refillable. So you can, it actually comes with a refill, but I like being able to buy refills for this. So you can see that this is more of a triangular shape here. And then the other side, you have the spoolie. And for lips, we're going in with the new Mario lip balm. So this is the shade Mauve Glow. It's actually a plumping lip serum. So this is the shade. You can see it's ultra shiny. I've already worn this, so I've kind of been testing this out. And there are some things I like and don't like. Like, I actually do like this formula a lot. I don't love this packaging. So, this is plastic packaging. I don't have an issue with that. What I don't like is it's one of these like twist ups, and you can see it goes up very, very slowly, but you cannot twist it back down. So I just don't like that. But I think the formula is really nice. So you can see there's some shimmer in here, very fine glitter particles. I don't feel like it looks glittery on the lips, but here, take a look. So that's just one layer. That's really all you need. You can see how shiny and how glossy it is. And those like shimmery particles really help to catch the light. It's emollient on the lips. It feels more like a serum slash balm, but it does not feel like oily, like it's gonna go all over the place. And I have to say, I have not had issues with it going all over the place. I mean, it could, depending on how you apply it, because it is a very soft formula, but it's not gonna really drift much on its own. If it is something that concerns you, just add a little lip pencil or something around the perimeter. But I think the actual appearance and the texture of it is really nice on the lips. And we'll talk more about this in a minute. So let me show you the final look, and then we'll talk about my thoughts. So this is the final look from a distance, a very soft, light, kind of everyday, easy kind of look. You can see I really didn't use a lot of blush today. I wanted to get just a little bit more of a glow with a very small hint of color, if that makes sense. So this is the blush, the La Comète blush and the Peche Rosé. I have to say, between the two of them, I prefer the La Comète only because of the way that I intend to use it. I think giving it kind of that glow, it's kind of in between something that it's kind of in between like a blush, a highlighter, and a finishing powder, kind of all rolled into one. So I actually really like that. And I think it just gives this nice glow without imparting a ton of color, which works really well with other products. It works great to kind of tone down other blush shades. It works well as a base if you don't want to put on something more intense, if you want to kind of have a buffer there. So something that is more intense than you normally goes on more sheerly, like I did with the Peche Rosé. The Peche Rosé, I like that as a blush as well. I think it's a beautiful color, but it does have a kind of a lot of gold sheen to it, which I don't love that much gold in the sheen. So I think mixing those together or layering them like this really kind of prevented some of that gold sheen from coming through. And that was my intent there with that. So overall, I like both of them, but if I had to pick one, I actually really like the Peche Cosmique more. As for eyebrows, the Byredo pencil, I kind of gave you my thoughts during that. I think it's a nice product. It's not a favorite for me, but if you like that style of product, that more like waxier, creamier pencil style, this is a good one for that. It's just not my typical preference to use that type of product usually, but I do like it. And I already have a refill that it came with, and I am a sucker for refillable products, so it's possible I would pick up another one in the future. The mascara, the Sisley So Stretch, this is a repurchase for me. This is my second tube of the brown. I also have it in blue and black. It's just a favorite. I absolutely love it. Definitely buy it on sale. It's very expensive. It is one of those ones that has like a lash serum in it that is supposed to help with growth and so forth. I can't say that I've noticed anything from that, but I just think it's a really great mascara. The Nude Dress mono eyeshadow from Dior. I like it. I like their monos. I think this is a nice one. I do not have the Nude Dress Quint, but I think this is a nice one and done kind of shade, and it has a satin finish to it. It's a good product, so I like that one. The Victoria Beckham eyeliner in olive, just checking this out one more time, but I like the color. I think it's a really nice, beautiful color. I like the formula of hers. I have to say it's really close to the Sisley though in 3 Matte Jungle, and if I had known how close they were, I probably would not have picked up the Victoria Beckham because they're really close. So I just don't think I need both of them open at this time, if that makes sense. So I will leave a note down below with how it performed throughout the day, or perhaps I'll do an update later. As for the Mario lip balm, I have been wearing this for a couple days, and I really like the texture. One thing I did not mention while I was applying it is it does have a strong mint texture to it. You know, it's a lip plumping serum essentially, so typically you're gonna see mint in those products. Now, the first time I put this on, I think my lips were a little bit more chapped or sore. They were fresh from exfoliation after doing a bunch of lip swatches, so they were probably a little bit more tender. And I have to say the mint was very intense at that time. Now when I go to put it on, it's just like a typical minty thing, like the Dior Lip Maximizers or something like that. However, I have to say that the mint particles in there, after 2 hours, if I rub my lips together, it kind of, you know, refreshes that minty feeling on my lips. So that minty plumping texture really does last quite a while. Otherwise, I'd say wear time on this, you know, you're looking at probably about 3 hours or so before I feel like I want to reapply. It actually stays on pretty well, but if you want to maintain that like glossier vibe after eating and drinking and so forth, I'd recommend reapplying. But I would pick up more of these. I like this one. And then the foundation, I use the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skincare and Glow Foundation. One of my favorites. It's a go-to foundation for me. I think it gives your skin a natural glow and is light to medium buildable coverage. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the Sisley Phyto Puder Compact. This is one, I picked it up when it first came out. You can see how much of it I still have, but I absolutely love this powder and I use it a lot. So I think it's a really great product. Highly recommend it. A little goes a long way with it. You don't need much. And then moving on to the Cle de Peau concealer. So far, I think it looks good and it felt good going on. It seemed to cover well. Again, I will do a side-by-side comparison test in the video for the actual Cle de Peau concealer after I've worn this for a few more days. But so far, so good. And again, I'll give you an update on this and how it has performed as well. So, hey everyone, it has been just past the 6-hour mark. I just wanted to give you a quick update on how things are performing. And again, I'll have further updates on the Cle de Peau concealer in the separate video on that. And let me bring you in. So I have not touched up anything at all throughout the day. So this is obviously the lip serum has worn off completely at this point. And I have to say though, even when it was like almost gone, just pressing my lips together would revive that minty sensation. Not obviously to the same strength, but I could still feel some of that. So just something to note. It did, some of the like glossiness and everything, even before drinking, some of it kind of soaked in and faded a bit. It wasn't as glossy looking as initial application throughout the whole time. This is the Victoria Beckham eyeliner. So far, like no movement or anything. It still looks just as vibrant as before. No issues with it. And this here is the concealer. So I have to say it's looking pretty good. So I hope this was helpful. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.